President Obama delivering the State of the Union address last night, I flat out called it a dud. We're joined by the Wall Street Journal's Dan Henninger, one of President Obama's sharpest critics, all right? I called the speech a dud. I mean, look, strong word. What do you say?
Well, the thing is that the Obama presidency is on the brink of becoming a dud itself, Stuart. Look, this presidency, let's put it in context. His presidency is on the bubble. It's on the brink of becoming a spent force. His approval ratings are down in the low 40s. Ronald Reagan's were above 60 at this point. 63% of people no longer have confidence in the president's decision-making abilities. And as we noted last week, Fox poll said 74% of the people think the country's still in a recession. The recession ended in early 2009. So he needs to do something big. There are probably three big things he could do to make an impression and to lift the economy. One would be a tax reform bill. Second would be a movement on free trade. And third would be immigration reform. All three require him to work with Congress. The problem is, Stuart, that this president is virtually incapable of working with Congress, either by dint of his inclinations or his personality. He can't do business with Congress. So that makes him default to Plan B, which is the unilateral presidency.
But think of the opportunity that the president had last night. He could have gone up there and said, we need to do something about private enterprise. I'm going to embrace tax reform. Let's get this country going. He could have said that. He never went anywhere near that.
Well, he mentioned it in passing. He sort of made this sort of gesture towards Congress, but he has shown no ability to work with them. He could have had a corporate tax cut in the first term. There is consensus that the corporate rate in the United States is way out of whack relative to the rest of the world. Never did it. He does not want to give a tax cut to corporations, and he probably doesn't want to do tax reform of the sort that the members of Congress want to do, which would include lowering the tax somewhat on the highest earners. He doesn't want to do that. So by inclination, he is just incapable of doing the big things that would lift the country and the economy.
Does that mean this president is essentially a lame duck president for another 3 years?
Well, as he said, if Congress won't act, he will act. And I think there is indeed, I'm not of the opinion that some of these unilateral decisions he's going to make, these executive decisions, don't matter that much. I think that he can cause his bureaucracies, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Labor Department, the Department of Justice, the new Consumer Protection Bureau, to take actions that are going to upset the private sector. And there isn't going to be too much that they can do about it.
But that's the exact opposite of what America wants. America wants to get the private sector moving. It doesn't want executive action from I don't think it wants executive action from the president clamping down further on private enterprise.
As he has for the past 5 years. I mean, the reason there's anxiety in the country, the reason people don't have trust in his decision-making ability is we have had such low growth for 5 years. The jobs report in December said 330,000 more people had dropped out of the labor force. That's why Americans are in such a state of anxiety. But it is his policies that has led to this state of anxiety. And it's just impossible for me, Stuart, to see this particular president, with all the self-confidence he has and all that arrogance, shifting in a direction that would actually help the economy much more than he has.
I agree with you. Dan Henninger, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us again.
Appreciate
it.